Okay, hi there. I'm going to give a really quick review on some of my initial findings with my brand new G1. I've had this for about 2-3 weeks now, and I've really liked it overall. Some of the reviews I've read online have been fairly conflicting. Some are really good, some really bad, some in between. I think all in all, I've really appreciated this phone, especially since I came from a T-Mobile Dash. So this was a good phone, but let me show you some of the features that I appreciate and have had kind of some issue with. So firstly, the battery on this is nearly dead, and that's pretty typical. I can go about a day without being on the phone too much, and the battery will pretty rapidly decay during the evening. So I've got to make sure that I have either a charger available or my USB cord that I can tether to my laptop in order to charge it while I'm away. But let's see here. So firstly, it kind of has some some GUI features that kind of mimic that of the iPhone a little bit, which I appreciate since I'm locked into a contract and can't necessarily go out and get an iPhone. This top area, which is draggable, lists your notifications. So if you get text messages and whatnot or emails, those would end up showing up here, and those would be also coming in while you're on the telephone, using it during a call, and so that's really helpful. I've really liked that. I've put various icons along here that I use quite often. Really quickly, one of the issues I found has been within the email. I'm going to just pull up an email that I actually received today from my professor. But sometimes what happens is these emails, they'll come up and in the text it lists it as null, which clearly this was not an empty email, and if I were to pull this up elsewhere, the content would be there. My options are fairly limited within this. There isn't necessarily a way to refresh it that I've found. I can do some digging. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has dealt with this issue yet, or so far. Some other things, we've got our applications down here, and there are quite a few to choose from. I downloaded quite a few off of the market here, which is this icon. And if I go back, it'll sort on the main page. It gives you kind of some of the what they do with their featured different applications, which I think are just random applications that may end up being fairly popular. But here you can download separate applications listed by category, and so you got things like communication, entertainment, lifestyle, finance, productivity, some reference, shopping. There's some social applications, tools, travel, some software libraries, and some demo applications as well as some games, which I haven't really gone through. I'm not much of a gamer on my phone, especially considering the lifetime. This battery during charges is fairly small. But some of the cool things that I've really appreciated, I can get into, there's a program here, the Terminal Emulator, and this will allow me to drop into the Linux terminal here on the G1. And then also, being the nerd that I am, I have this other program called ConnectBot, and this allows me to connect to my Linux server. And if we reorient this, here it's going to ask me to sign in, and I'm just going to back right out of this because I just wanted to quickly demonstrate that. But it's pretty cool. I really appreciate that. The camera here, I suppose, is worth commenting on, because apparently you can't take videos, just camera. So there's no video cam on this. This Compare Everywhere application I'll load really fast. It's pretty cool. You can scan different barcodes using your phone and the camera here on the back to load in the barcode, and what it does is it references in like real time. It'll reference local places and see what the prices are. So you may want to go down the block to save $5, then this may end up helping you do that. And a Craigslist application, because who can live without Craigslist. Facebook Looped is pretty cool. The Maps program comes coupled with the phone, and this will end up being a lifesaver. You can do quick Google searches, as Google is obviously well integrated within this phone, but kind of gives you you know, a radius of the tower that you're connected to, so then you can figure out, oh well, I'm actually within this area. And if you wanted to narrow down the scope, you could turn on your GPS, and as long as you had a clear line of sight to the skies, then you could probably end up isolating your exact location. But you can end up doing searches, and you know, with the roller bar, you can end up scrolling over and down, and you know, these maps get loaded in real time. So you know, if you're familiar with Seattle, this is downtown Seattle. So let's see here, what else? The messaging is pretty cool too. It does, you know, similar features as to what some of the newer phones will do, and just sorts all your conversations together, which is really helpful. Shazam, you've seen, you know, on other different phones, especially the iPhone. That's one thing that they try and plug, but nobody ever really says, you know, is available on other phones. Let's go ahead and do a speed test. I did one earlier, and I was able to get around 350 to 400K bits per second. So right now we're pushing you know, connected to the 3G network here in Seattle. I'm getting right around 380 to 390 kilobits per second. So I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad, but that's definitely what I'm getting. The calendar also is pretty easily integrated into my Google Calendar. Some of the issues that other people have complained about, the keyboard is a little bit small. I don't have that issue. Again, if you know anything about the Dash, then you know that this is actually a much larger keyboard than what I'm accustomed to, so I can't complain there. Some of these buttons, especially my menu button, is a little soft, so where I would appreciate it to be a little bit just more easier to realize that you're pressing the button. It's just not, like, it's just since it's such a soft button, I can't really, I've got to double check to make sure I actually pressed it, so that's kind of a problem. The rollerball is pretty nice, that's fine too. One problem I do have is it's the only connection from the outside world to the G1 is through this mini USB port. And so this is what we use to charge. This is also what you'd end up using if you wanted to use a wired, like, headset or headphones. There are no headphone jacks on this, so given the lifespan of the battery, also, you know, you may not want to be playing music, but that's maybe something for people to keep in mind. Right over here on the left side, this is where the mini, or the micro SD rather, card that came with the phone, gigabyte came with the phone, plugs in right there. So I can close that back up. But regarding this mini USB port, one of the other underlying issues is that when you have it connected, it can be really hard and cumbersome to be typing on here as well while that's charging. So it charges pretty fast, and so I can't complain there. But one thing that I do need to look into as well is there's a lot of background activity, and that comes in the form of not really being able to exit out of the programs quickly and efficiently. I'm pretty sure that anything that I've loaded since I've rebooted this thing this morning is still running in the background. But here's the volume control on the left, and then on the right here, kind of fairly intuitive. I mean, if you're holding it like this and want to take a photo with the camera over here on the left, then this is a good place to have the button for the camera. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. It's a good phone, and yeah, that's the rundown. Thanks.